Today we have two wonderful presenters, and I just want to embrace you for our first presenter. So we recently, about 2 days ago, we had two people in line to present with us. Both of them said, "Oh, I'm traveling. Oh, I can't do it." So we said, okay, well, what are we gonna do? So we have asked Chris to come in, and he literally, within 24 hours, he jumped in our spots. So if you could be kind, and if you could embrace and encourage him, that would be wonderful. But we're gonna get started with him first. Chris, come onto the stage. Let's welcome him up for SymbioVR.
Good morning. Good morning, my name is Chris Pusczak, and I'm the CEO and founder of SymbioVR. Now first, let me ask everyone, who here has dealt with a virtual reality device such as the Oculus Rift? Great, a couple of hands here and there. So who am I? I've been a lifelong gamer. I actually was born on an Air Force base, and my family moved around a bunch whenever I was little. So I wasn't able to hold many friends, and games were kind of my way of escaping and just enjoying myself from time to time. Besides that, I'm an idea generator. I always have stuff buzzing around in my head, and I'm always thinking of new and different ways to become more efficient, and I like to call myself a dreamer as well. So my current team, we currently have 8 members. We're a boot startup right now. I'm the creative director as well. We do have Michael Smith. He owns a patent that's currently on our team. Project manager, producer, a couple of leads for the art and dev, as well as a game designer and a mechanical engineer. Our partner is Burnout Game Ventures. Burnout Game Ventures is a great company started by Rupert Magnot. He actually helped us through our startup process and took us from idea all the way through to becoming a full-fledged company. And what they provide for us is different resources such as our computers and the software licenses, stuff like that. They also provide advisory for us as a startup and mentorship as well. They teach us how to fish, and that way whenever we finish with the contract that we have with them, we're able to stand on our own as a brand new company. So a little bit about our advisory. These are our 3 main that we have right now. Jason Gerald is a virtual reality expert. He's been in the game for 20 plus years, recently released his first book that I helped him out with. He works for Next Gen Interactions along with his wife. Jacob Everett is our project manager advisor. He works currently with Cartoon Network. And Dennis Price is a CG and animation. He helps us a lot with our art direction as well as a demonstrational video that we're currently putting together. And he's worked a number of years for Blizzard. If you've seen any of their CGI for the past decade, he's worked on those heavily. So the spark of inspiration, the real reason that I came about this was about 4 years ago when I was midway through my master's degree. This video popped up, and it was actually from the Gadget Show over in England, and it's called the Ultimate Battlefield 3 Simulator. Now what they did here is they took a number of devices and merged them all together. They had this giant igloo dome with a projector screen, wireless gun, as well as an Omni treadmill there in the center that would constantly push the user back towards the center. And I thought, this is just amazing. You know, this is something that people are going to want to hop in and actually play. Even cooler than that, they had it set up so that these paintball guns that were set up around it, when the enemy shot at you from inside the game, they actually shot cork balls at you, and you actually got hit. So this was a great idea. I really loved it, but I thought this is kind of impractical because it's a very huge setup, it's very expensive. So my question was, how do we take this and minimize it down to be able to fit inside the home? So what is vArmor? vArmor is the product we're currently developing. And what I wanted to do is get gamers up off the couch and actually become more physically fit while playing the games. You know, whenever you're sitting down, you know, it's great to enjoy it on the controller with the console and everything. I still play it myself, but I've always dreamed of being able to work out while playing a video game and actually being transported into the game, providing a mind-blowing experience. Now, VArmor has a number of devices. Virtual reality lately has really boomed. It's kind of, they're giving it a second wind is what they're calling it. There's a number of devices out there. All of them do great and wonderful different things, all the way from head-mounted displays like the Oculus Rift, down to even things that allow you to smell your environment and put inputs into it. So if you look at all of these different virtual reality devices, it's almost like parts to a car. So if you think of an automotive assembly, each of these individual parts is going to be like our tech devices. Now, obviously not as many as you see here. This is a full-fledged car. But if you think about putting them all together into one unit, that's what we're doing with the VArmor system, is we're taking these wonderful, awesome virtual reality devices and merging them together and solving the issues that come with that, such as power management and cord management with all these different devices. So I'd invite you all for just a moment to close your eyes. Now imagine your favorite video game character. Now what would they be seeing? What would you be hearing around you? What could you reach out and actually touch? What might you be smelling? And also, what might your character be thinking? So if you open your eyes now, what the VArmor system does is it takes these sights, these sounds, the ability to touch your environment, as well as your thoughts, and actually puts them into the game, and you actually become the game. So one of the wonderful things that we have is working with Burnout Game Ventures, we learned from our project management standpoint to actually do our due diligence. So I went out there and researched all the patents that were in the virtual reality world as we were creating this. And we found a virtual reality patent called the Virtual Reality Game. It was created and owned by Michael Smith. We found that the patent was actually in kind of a dead period. It wasn't active at the moment. So what we did is we actually reached out to him and made sure that we wanted to work with him and not step on any toes. So we reached out. He's a great guy. He actually said, yeah, let's do it. I want to work with you guys on this, and I want to see my dream actually become a reality. So this patent actually, with first to file, it has only about 200 out of 11,000 plus that come before it. So it has huge precedence in the industry. As well as BGV, what they provided to us is actually they revived it from the dead and they exclusively licensed the rights directly to us. So about the market with the virtual reality is there are a number of companies that Google, with a number of other different companies, whether they're studios developing content for it or the hardware itself, have had a number of great success with getting investments as well. Even today, just on my phone, I got emails saying that Jimmy Kimmel is creating a virtual reality comedy session so people can actually go in there and watch him do a little skit. So looking at the market, as far as worldwide gamers go, there are 1.2 billion gamers worldwide, and 700 million of them are online gamers, which if you look at that for the online population, that's 44% of the online population is gamers. Newzoo also put out a report saying that 145 million esports enthusiasts will become popular by 2017. So SymbioVR, work with us and Burnout Game Ventures to become the game.
All right, thanks.
So we're going to start the question and answer. If you have a question, raise your hand.
Down front as well. Coming.
Great presentation. I'm sitting here thinking about it from a standpoint, if I was a car manufacturer and I wanted people to have the experience of all the different models of what I made. I'm thinking about it if I was Hilton and I wanted somebody to have the experience of all the resorts I had around the world. So I'm looking at it from that application. I'm going, number one, if these cats are spending big bucks, a couple $1 billion, and they don't even have a prototype, is that what you're telling me?
They did have a prototype. I believe they were in their second development kit when they were bought out.
So they weren't to stage 4 or anything close. So, okay, that's what I'm thinking. They're seeing something that somebody isn't seeing. And they're seeing big money.
Yes, yeah, I see it too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, hi. In terms of the game, you said esports, so are you anticipating that this would be like the Madden 16 just got released? I think it was last night. Is this something where you could actually participate in a game like that, like a football game, or use it for football teams to train?
Well, we do have a number of different avenues that we're looking at. The first is we're looking at the arcade route, having this in something such as a Dave & Buster's, where you can go in there and experience a 5-minute different walkthroughs, whether it's a first-person shooter or even if you're just walking around like a virtual tourism type of space. We also want to look into the esports market. It's becoming very popular lately. Gamers are really getting hardcore with their first-person shooters, their Dotas, those different types of games. And we feel this would be a perfect fit to edge into the competitive market. There is currently an esports title being created for the Project Morpheus, which is Sony's answer to virtual reality headsets. And that one's currently in development. It's supposed to be released with the Project Morpheus when it does.
Nice to meet you, Chris. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Just had a question. It was about the 4 senses, basically the last one, thought. How is that placed into this as well?
Yes, there's a number of different devices that actually take neural input. The one that we're currently working with is called the Emotive, and what it does is it has a number of sensors that go around the head. The new addition, the Insight that's coming out, which hasn't been released yet, is a dry sensor, so you don't have to do any of the wet saline solutions directly to the scalp. But what it does is it actually reads different areas of the brain, and it can train it based off of the individual user. And with that, it allows a developer to take specific action. So let's say you're using a Star Wars game, for instance, and you can actually think about picking up an object and then rotating it, pushing it forward, pulling it towards you, whatever it may be.
Good morning. I'm curious, are you targeting this for consumers, or are you targeting it for like arcades? Who's your target audience? Kind of what, have you given thought to a price point? And what's your exit strategy? Are you trying to find a way to be attractive to a Google, or what are your thoughts at this early stage?
Yes, so we are looking at, I'm sorry, could you define it just one more time?
Yeah, the first has to do with who's your market, because I'm guessing that an armor suit like this is going to be more expensive than a headset. So I'm curious as to who's going to buy the product, which you're in a development phase, I get that right now, but kind of where does this go next? And then what are you thinking? That really provoked the second question. What are you thinking in terms of exit? Are you just trying to get it to a point to where you can prove that this works and then find a partner who can take you further, or are you looking to actually develop the marketplace for this yourself?
Gotcha. So we're starting to look at this. Obviously, it's going to be a more expensive unit. Whenever technology does come out and it's brand new, it's going to be higher end, more expensive. So what we're looking at right now is to have it into different areas that can be licensed, such as the esports market, which would be great. Different athletes would be purchasing this and training on it and being able to play on it. We're also looking at the arcade route as kind of a bigger, more entertainment route. Now, of course, we're probably going to have a couple of early adopters that are going to be able to purchase this and put it in their home, and we're going to kind of consider them on a little bit of a beta tester. As the market grows and technology becomes cheaper and more mass-produced, eventually we want to whittle this down into the home market. Of course, the price point may still be a little bit more expensive even then, but we're hoping that as it comes further and further along, they'll get cheaper and cheaper, which they're looking at VR to be kind of a standard household item within about 10 years. You know, we have a computer in every home now, basically. We're looking at having virtual reality in the home in about 10 years as well. Exit strategy, we are looking at possibly being bought out. We're always open to it. I personally would like to keep on board and hopefully maybe follow the Oculus Rift strategy, where they were bought out by Facebook, but they weren't kind of pushed out. They were still allowed to work the same way that they were. The company was allowed to run, but Facebook was able to provide them with a lot more resources than they originally had to further development, solve the issues a lot better, as well as being able to do a lot of QA and testing with it as well.
Thank you.
We have a question right here.
Hi, Chris. So have you looked at going to the target marketing? Have you examined the serious gaming and the simulation market? Because I would think that they would have those larger size budgets for early adoption, and Orlando's a huge community in that vertical.
Good question. We have looked at a number of different avenues. The reason I wanted to start in the gaming market is only because my entire team is made up of game developers. We know that market, we know how to develop for it. We wanted to start there. We have looked at a number of different other avenues, such as military simulation, virtual tourism is going to be big, as well as even the medical applications it could possibly provide for people as well. You know, maybe even learning how to walk again, post-traumatic stress disorder, a lot of different areas we can also go into. But again, we're basically a lot of game developers right now, and that's why we're starting to we're creating the prototype base around the gaming market.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you tell me about your relationship with Burnout Game Ventures? What do you plan to do with them? What have they helped you with so far and the future?
Sure. So I was actually a student of Rupert Magnotz, who is the owner of Burnout Game Ventures, and he heavily focused on training his students to understand project management and everything that is involved with that, doing your due diligence, making sure you're asking the right questions at the right time to the right people. So after I had finished up with my schooling there, we kept in great contact, and when he came up with Burnout Game Ventures, he approached me after I presented at Indianomicon here locally in Orlando. And he said, I love this system, I want to work with you, let's make this happen. So from there it was just an idea, and then I believe within a half a year we've been working together. He found me a number of different talent to actually help me continue with my idea and make it grow, and then even coached me into how to create the company itself, SymbioVR. So after that, we've been working closely with each other. We've kind of been in stealth mode as of late, but now that we're actually getting a little bit more of a prototype together, we're starting to come out of our shell a little bit more. You know, obviously coming here was a great thing for us as well. And then in the future, we're hoping to really start growing and letting people know who we are and what we do. We're actually going to Orlando IX here in October, thanks to a partnership with BGV itself. And then from there, we have a number of devices that are being delivered by the end of the year. And as we get new tech devices being delivered via their Kickstarters or however they're going to be doing it, we're looking at adding those and then creating new demos based around the new functionalities that we discover and the limitations on those as well.
That's great. And as a side note, Burnout Game Ventures, I don't know if you guys remember, but they presented with us just last month. So shout out to Burnout Game Ventures. Woo.
Why don't I try one word? Military.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Military.
Yes.
Security. Defense.
Keeping that under the hat a little bit.
I came in late, but I know a little bit about like VR and stuff like this. I saw the slide with with Magic Leap down in Dania Beach, and there are a lot of other people doing this. Like I follow on TechCrunch and VentureBeat, I see a lot of. So how are you reaching out to Microsoft HoloLens? Are you reaching out to Oculus? Are you reaching out to Magic Leap? Are you reaching out to the Canadian VR wearable tech communities?
Well, first and foremost, the part that you did miss is we actually have a patent that we're following that BGV helped us get obtain, and we have exclusive rights to it. So the first thing we're doing is we're finding the tech devices that will actually follow that patent and fulfill it completely. We're going to be reaching out to those partners. We kind of want to wait until we actually have a full prototype ready, because we don't want to go to them with just an idea. We want to actually be able to show them what we're doing with their technology, and be able to ask them, you know, hey, this is what we're doing with your product. We would like to partner with you or license it however we need to get this idea off the ground. We also have a number of options as far as alternatives, such as there's an Omni treadmill that you see here. We have one first and foremost. If they don't want to work with us for whatever reason it may be, we do have another couple of options that we can go with, as well as the potential of creating one ourselves.
Any other questions? Oh, up front.
It's hard in heels, it is.
I know you've mentioned, obviously, military applications of it, and on the other end spectrum is the gamers. But there's a lot in between. I know there's a lot of police and law enforcement that don't have the military budget, where if this came down, obviously they can spend more than what a home gamer would spend, but not quite what the US military would spend. So there's a whole bunch of people in the middle you may want to target. And I would love to have this, like I said, for a local sheriff's office, or something, you know, more smaller than the big guys.
Yeah, we have looked into those as well. We just kind of, we do kind of simulation as a whole. All the different training areas, we kind of envelop into that one general area. As far as budgeting goes, we have a couple of different models that are proprietary to BGV that I can't mention at the moment, but it would make it affordable for those that don't have the big budgets like the military to be able to afford this and work with us.
Okay, so it looks like that is all of the questions that we can go with right now. So in the spirit of 1 million cups, Chris, we always ask this question. What can we do for you right now?
Well, putting us in contact with the right people. All of my people currently have secondary jobs to support their life. I would love to make this an endeavor that we could focus solely on 24 hours a day if we could. But we're always looking for unique talent, people who can come to us that have a gaming background, engineering background, even things such as producing videos for us to put onto a potential Kickstarter, present to investors, which all of them can go to the Burnout Game Ventures website and apply there, and then they'll filter through to us the correct people that we would need to get this going for us.
That's wonderful. And what hashtags can we use also and when we're tweeting out for you? Is there a particular set?
Yes, we use hashtag VRMOR, letters VRMOR. Also VR is big. It's always big to keep the industry growing, as well as SymbioVR. We like to do that one as well.
Okay. Thank you very much.